Hello everyone. It's great to see you again in today's video. Jack was sitting at work very focused. He was designing the logo and signboard of his new company by himself. Jack wanted to prepare even the smallest details himself. Opening the company this time was very important to Jack, so he was careful in everything. Tu Tien sat alone in the living room. She was attentively writing something in a small notebook. Then suddenly Jack came out of the room. He walked to where Tu Tien was sitting and asked her what she was doing. Tu Tien shyly said that every time she came back from the market, she couldn't remember how much money she earned, so she was writing down her income in this small notebook to remember easily. Then Tu Tien turned to Jack and asked him, looking at him dressed very nicely today, did he seem to be going somewhere? Jack told her that he was preparing to go to the company office. At the same time, Jack's mother also came out. She sat next to Jack and asked him what he was going to the company for today. Jack said that today was the day his company interviewed for a job. Although the company had not yet been completely renovated, the job search was the most important thing, so he wanted to do it first. Jack's mother said that if he needed any help at work, he could just tell her and she would help. Jack smiled and told his mother that he had taken care of everything. Then he turned to ask Tu Tien what she planned to do today. Tu Tien replied that she had just found a fruit garden nearby. She would go there to harvest and sell it at the market. Jack held Tu Tien's hand and told him to stay home and rest, and now he had to go to the company. Jack also turned to say goodbye to his mother, and then he stood up to go to the company. When Jack left, Tu Tien asked Jack's mother for permission to go harvest some fruits to sell at the market, because she saw that Jack now had to worry about many things, from opening a company to repairing the farm, which would also cost a lot. Going to Tu Tien wanted to earn some extra money, even though she knew the money she earned was not worth much, but still wanted to help Jack a little. Jack's mother smiled slightly and comforted Tu Tien not to worry too much. She knew her son was very good and could take care of everything. She knew Tu Tien was a hard-working girl. If she told her to stay at home, she would feel sad and upset. So she stopped him and told Tu Tien if she wanted to go harvest, then she could go, but she would only go near home and need to take care of her health. Tu Tien nodded and said she would listen to Jack's mother's advice. She would harvest near home and then bring it to the market to sell. If she finished early, she would stop by Jack's company to see how his work was going, and then it would be convenient for her to go to the farm with Jack to see how it was. Tu Tien put on her small bag. She said goodbye to Jack's mother, and then she started her harvesting work. Jack went to the company and Uncle Dung was there. The two greeted each other and Jack invited him to sit down and drink water. The two discussed what they needed to do today. After sitting for a while, two of Jack's friends also arrived. One was a lawyer and the other was a human resources manager for a company that Jack knew. Jack invited everyone to sit down and drink water. Jack said the reason he invited everyone here today was to help him interview and recruit staff to prepare for his upcoming company. Jack knew that all three friends that Jack asked for help today were all experienced people. So Jack asked them to help him find people with the ability and enthusiasm to help Jack's company develop more. All three of them agreed to help Jack with all their might to find good and talented employees for him. Tu Tien walked gracefully on the dirt road. On her back was always a familiar bamboo basket. She walked and looked around. Then the small dirt road led Tu Tien to a house located in the middle of the hill, surrounded by hills of fruit trees planted everywhere. Tu Tien stood in the yard and called the owner of the house, and she asked to buy some guavas from the garden to sell at the market. The owner immediately agreed and told her to go up to the garden and pick them. Tu Tien was happy, and then she went to the guava garden next door. Tu Tien gently stepped into the green guava hill, carrying a sturdy bamboo basket on her shoulder. The fresh, cool air made her steps even lighter. The whole garden was shaded by trees. Each row of guava trees laden with fruit was carefully wrapped by the garden owner in protective mesh bags. She looked up at each bunch of fruit, her eyes shining with joy and satisfaction. Tu Tien's skillful hands selected round, plump, ripe guavas. She carefully removed each fruit, placing it in the basket with respect, as if cherishing the fruits of her own labor. A smile was always on Tu Tien's lips. The sunlight through the leaves shone on her radiant and peaceful face. In the middle of the cool green space, the image of Tu Tien diligently harvesting guava appeared so simple yet beautiful. A peaceful picture in the middle of the vibrant mountains and forests. When Tu Tien had picked a full basket, she sat down to rest a bit to ease her fatigue. She used her hat to wipe the sweat from her forehead and fanned herself to cool down. After resting for a bit, Tu Tien stood up again, put the bamboo basket on her back, and carried the basket of fruit she had just picked down to the garden owner's house to calculate the payment. When she got to the garden owner's house, Tu Tien put the bamboo basket on the scale for the garden owner to see. When the two had agreed on the weight of the guavas picked and the price of the fruit, Tu Tien took the money out of her pocket and gave it to the garden owner, making an appointment to come back to harvest another day. The two of them laughed and talked happily with each other. Then Tu Tien said goodbye to the garden owner. Now she would have to carry these guavas to the market to sell. Jack at the company, everyone came to interview for his company. First, Jack introduced his company to everyone and then he started to invite people one by one to come for an interview. Jack and 3 friends that he trusted to come here today to help him start working. Everyone was very serious. When each person came for an interview, they were holding a job application in their hands. Uncle Dung carefully checked the information of each application. Jack and his lawyer friend interviewed the people who came today. He carefully asked for each person's information and asked about their wishes when they joined his company. What position did they want to work in? Jack asked many questions to the people who came for the interview. Jack's purpose was to find people who were really good for his company, a very professional working environment. Tu Tien carried a basket of freshly harvested guavas to the market to sell. Her steps were light but full of excitement. On her shoulder was a woven bamboo basket. Inside were the green guavas that she had carefully arranged. Going to the market, she chose a small corner of the market, spread out the small bag she had prepared and arranged the guavas in neat, fresh piles. Then she gently invited everyone to come in and buy. Next to her were small, rustic stalls. Sellers displayed all kinds of vegetables and fruits. Bright red tomatoes, young green squash, bunches of spinach still covered with morning dew. The sound of people chatting, the sound of scales clattering, surrounded by green hills and mountains. Wafting in the wind was the smell of soil, the smell of grass and trees, and the gentle scent of wild flowers, creating a gentle melody in the peaceful atmosphere of the countryside market. Tu Tien carefully removed each guava wrapped in a bag to reveal its beautiful, fresh green color. And in no time, someone came to buy. Tu Tien smiled gently when someone stopped by to buy, her eyes shining with simple joy. Then Tu Tien's guava stall was like the center of everyone's attention. They came in and bought a lot, just sitting there selling for a while. Tu Tien was able to sell all the guavas. She carefully folded the small bag and prepared to go home. Tu Tien planned to go to Jack's company to see him work. Jack was sitting in the interview when he saw Tu Tien standing outside the door. Jack went out and took Tu Tien into the company to visit. Outside, everyone was still continuing the interview. Jack took Tu Tien into the living room. She looked around and then she looked happy to see that Jack's company was gradually being completed. Tu Tien told Jack that this morning she went to harvest some guavas and then brought them to the market to sell, and many people bought and supported her, so in no time she sold all the guavas, and because the market was near Jack's company, after selling the guavas she wanted to go in and see how his company was doing. Then she waited for Jack to take her to the farm because this morning Jack said he would take Tu Tien to the farm when he was done. Jack smiled and told Tu Tien to wait for him to come out and hand over the work. Then they both went to the farm. Jack went out when the interviewers were gone. Jack thanked his friends for coming to help him have a smooth interview. Jack offered to invite everyone to eat, but everyone was busy, so they all declined, and then they shook hands and said goodbye to Jack before leaving. Jack also packed up his documents and called Tu Tien to prepare for the two of them to go to the farm together. Sitting in the car, Jack told Tu Tien that today the farm was starting to dig the foundation to build a house. He would take Tu Tien in to see everyone working. Tu Tien was very happy and tried to look forward to seeing the project that Jack was doing for her. Jack stopped the car at a small road. Then the two got out of the car to go to the construction site. Jack took the car to take a safety helmet and gently put it on Tu Tien. He carefully adjusted the helmet to fit Tu Tien's head. She smiled happily as if she had transformed into an assistant to the talented architect. Then Jack went around the back of the car, took out 2 pairs of boots and gave Tu Tien a pair to wear. Jack always paid special attention to Tu Tien. After preparing everything, the two started walking towards the construction site. In the middle of a large field, the image of workers working enthusiastically. They are digging holes to make the foundation for the house. On the unfinished construction site, in the sun, wind and dust flying everywhere, Jack and Tu Tien checked the progress of the work together. Jack and Tu Tien went to greet the workers. Then Tu Tien realized that her father-in-law was also working here. She quickly asked why he was also working here. He replied that because he had nothing to do alone, he felt very sad, so he came here to work and earn some extra income. Tu Tien heard that. She smiled. Then Tu Tien went to give each person a can of cool water that Jack had bought on the way here. Then she told everyone to stop and sit down to drink some water to relieve fatigue. Jack went to the main carpenter and asked him about the work situation. Then he took out the house design. Jack was checking the notes on the drawing board. His face was attentive, occasionally looking up to talk to the carpenter. Then he showed the carpenter what needed to be done. The carpenter nodded and followed Jack's instructions. Tu Tien went to her father-in-law and asked him if he was tired. Even though she was no longer his daughter-in-law, Tu Tien always paid attention to him. After resting for a while, everyone continued to work under the harsh sun of the summer noon. No one complained or rested. Jack and Tu Tien also went to work with the carpenter. Tu Tien held a hoe and she dug each piece of land. Jack asked Tu Tien how she felt when she dug the foundation for her upcoming house with her own hands. Tu Tien smiled brightly. She could not hide her joy. The working atmosphere is urgent but not rushed, because everyone understands that every step, every brick laid today is the foundation for a solid construction tomorrow.